I remember my mom took me to a ballet class and I just fell in love with it right away. My mom told me that she could just see me light up when I was in class. It was my favorite place to be. And I think for me, for when it comes to dance, it's like where I feel my most alive and my most true, authentic self and real is when I'm in class, when I'm rehearsing, when I'm dancing. It feels like who I am and who I embody.
What inspired you to get into dance, and who is your inspiration?
And my inspiration. Well, I think I have a lot of inspirations now. I don't think it was one specific person because I started when I was 3. So I think it was just the love of being in the studio and the love of dancing got me inspired the most. But I think now, as I'm growing as a dancer and an artist and as a human, I have a lot of people that I look up to, performers now, some alive, some dead. I really respect Martha Graham. I think she was revolutionary in what she developed in the dance culture and what she represented as a woman. And I hope to aspire to be a great woman and a great dancer and a great artist, all of those things, because I don't think you should just be one entity in life. I think growing, you should be constantly doing until you die, I guess. I mean, until I can't dance anymore, which I hopefully will be never. um, there's a lot of dancers I really look up to and love. Diana Vishneva is one. I think she's one of the most gorgeous dancers ever. Um, her beauty on stage is just like jaw dropping. It's like you just feel this like essence when you watch her. You can't like take your eyes off of her. I think another inspiration is my mom. I really look up to her a lot. She's my best friend pretty much. I love her to death. I can talk to her about anything and everything. She's the woman I aspire to be too. She's strong, she's independent, she's loving, just all the qualities that I look for and want to be as I grow older.
Where were you born and raised?
York, Pennsylvania, so not too far from New York.
Did you start dance down in Pennsylvania?
I did, yeah, when I was 3. I went to a small dance studio called Greater York Youth Ballet.
Did you have a favorite teacher that really inspired you, and why?
I mean, there were definitely a couple teachers that I really looked up to. One was, her name was Cherie Noble. She had this kind of raw and like push you to your limits kind of teacher that made you work your best and hardest all the time, which is when I teach, that's what I want for my students too. She wanted more out of you. You can always do more. You can always have your maximum potential fulfilled. And those are the kind of teachers that I love because I want somebody to push me to like my limit. One of my other favorite teachers, his name is Alexander Kashok. He was a modern dancer. His style, just his personality too, I thought was different and quirky, and I like people that bring like their full selves into the studio and their choreography, and he was just a really interesting person and creature kind of. His choreography I really enjoyed, and I feel like it had his own voice when it came to his work, which I'm now getting into choreography and trying to develop my own voice, and I feel like you have to have your own identity in that way. You can never copy somebody else. And for me, I always want to be authentic when it comes to my artistry, whether it be my dancing, my performing, my choreography, my teaching. I always have to be true to myself, and those are the kind of people that I look up to.
Do you have a signature move, something that defines who you are, that states, this is me, and everybody's going to know you by that signature move?
there one move? I would say more of a kind of style that I get into when I dance. I don't know if it's one specific move. I like to be able to adapt and be good at everything, but I do think that like dancers definitely have a signature style that they're good at. I like to kind of bring all my styles that I'm good at together. Like I love doing salsa and I love ballet and I love contemporary, and I like to bring all those elements into the way that I move and my choreography. So I would say that's my kind of signature move.
Have you ever went to a location, maybe you're driving by in the city and you see a building or a structure and you say to yourself, wow, this is a location that I would love to dance in front of. It's like a vision that you would see. It could be, even a country as well too. Anything.
I would say, well, for me, New York was always a place that I wanted to live. And I think just the culture and being in the city, there's definitely been moments where I would just like start dancing like in the street. I don't know if there's one specific place in New York, but I would definitely say there were moments when I was in Paris where I just wanted to like stop and start dancing, because it was a city that just made me feel so alive, and I have such a love for it. Even though I've only been there twice, it like speaks to my heart. You know, when you just go to places where you just like, this is it. Like I just feel it in my soul. Paris is like that place for me. And if I could just like be a dancing gypsy in Paris for the rest of my life, I would be happy.
So what inspired you to come to New York all the way from Pennsylvania?
Well, I went to college. I graduated from SUNY Purchase in Westchester, New York. Even when I was younger, before that, like I always saw myself living in New York. I remember telling my mom when I was like 8 or 9 years old that I'm going to move to New York when I get older and not necessarily be a star, but like at least be in New York, dance in New York, and make it there. And that would be like my start. And I hope one day to grow even more and move to another big city and fulfill more dreams to come. But I'll always have a place in my heart for New York, always.
When you graduated college, what was your first job that you took?
Job. Dance or non-dance? I feel like, as an artist, when you just come to a city at first, you're just kind of thrown into the jungle a little bit. My first job was in retail. I worked at the clothing store Hollister. I don't even know if it's still around anymore.
Good question.
Yeah. I stayed there for a little bit. I just needed something just to get my feet like ready and like just on the hustle to be ready to like audition, and I was ready to dance. It's just I didn't know anyone at that point. I didn't really have many connections. So it takes a long time. They say it takes about at least 10 years really to get, made or, established in a city and for people to know who you are. And I feel like I'm finally getting to that stage now where I'm really seeing a difference in my career and pushing myself further.
How long did it take you to get your first job in dance, and what was it?
It actually was pretty quick. I auditioned for this one company. I don't know if they're still around anymore. They're called Janusphere Dance Company. I auditioned that summer and so this was my first experience performing, or not my first experience performing, but my first professional experience and getting paid. And it was kind of a rude awakening a little bit. I rehearsed with this company for a whole month. We had a couple rehearsals a week, and the performance was great. Everyone that I worked with was great. I enjoyed the experience, but it's a gig, so you don't get paid for rehearsal. You get a little bit of cash for the show, and then you're on your way next job. So that was my awakening to like the freelance life of New York, thrown into the jungle a little bit. But now I know my place, and I know who I am as an artist, and I'm more comfortable with who I am as a dancer. So I know like what I have to offer.
There right now is probably a little girl sitting in Pennsylvania sitting in Wyoming, could be anywhere in the world, and she wants to travel to New York to experience dance. What advice would you give her?
I would say my answer now I think would be different from my answer maybe when I first started in New York, but my answer now would be always stay true to yourself and be authentic to yourself, because no one can ever match your aura and your vibration and who you are. And it's going to be hard because you'll want to get every single job that you can, which is awesome. You should. But you should also know that you're important too. And you should always be your best self, your highest self, and your best version of yourself in life. Not even just as a dancer, but as a human, because I think dancing evolves us as an artist and as a person, and I think it opens up portals in our brains to like be heightened to different senses in the world. And I just feel like you should always just hold on to who you are and just love your life and yourself, and always, I don't want to say put yourself first, you should put love into people that care about you, but you should never put yourself second. You should always do what is right for you and try different things. You just never know. Try Broadway, try ballet, try a contemporary company. I think it's important to be diverse in every aspect of dance and not just be stuck in one little bubble of, okay, I need to get in ballet company and I need to stay there for a certain amount of years and I need to get from the core to the principal, and sometimes that's not always the best life. Sometimes, freelancing and doing different things and teaching is really fulfilling. It has been for me. So I think just stay true to yourself, and that's what matters the most.